Hello everyone, and welcome to the Formula Mac channel. My name is Colin, and today I'm going to be ranking the 2024 Formula One drivers. As a little disclaimer, I will be excluding Jack Doohan from the rankings, as he was in the last race for one race, and I just don't think we've seen enough of him to give him a fair judgment against everybody else. Anyways, here we go. In 23rd and last should come as no surprise to anyone when I say Logan Sargent. Logan Sargent had a lot more confidence, seemingly, going into the season compared to last year. Of course, it's his second season. He's not a rookie anymore, but the same thing kept happening. Albon just kept destroying him in qualifying, and they got to a point in Australia, which is not very far into the season, where Alex crashed a car, and they didn't even think Logan could do better. So he's just like, "Can I have your car?" And he said, "Okay." And then that's what happened. Now he doesn't have a seat anymore, and he's looking to be in European Le Mans Series, ELMS. So hopefully things turn out well for him in that way, as I'm an American and I don't have any bias at all. Moving on, in 22nd will be Lance Stroll. Comparatively to last year, it seems like he's found a little bit more pace in the Aston Martin. And now, Aston Martin is just painfully mid this year, as Alonso has been experiencing. Stroll is just strolling along. He's just making his mistakes still, not paying attention to what's going on, and rear-ending Ricciardo in China does not help his case as being marked as a pay driver. Now, in 21st should be Sergio Perez, which is surprising to how many people, because all of those Q1 exits while Max is out there dragging the third fastest car to his fourth world championship doesn't make Checo look good at all. He started it off strong by continuing off of that 2023 success that Red Bull celebrated. He just fell off after spring. I don't know what happened besides Adrian Newey leaving that would defer his progress. Now in 20th is another driver that seems to have ended his own career. Daniel Ricciardo, I don't think deserved the seat that he got. I don't think he deserved to have the 2024 seat. I think it showed when he was just not as fast as Yuki was in Bahrain. Now, granted, Yuki should have let him by, and after that, Yuki just seemed to comfortably outpace him. Now, I will say his Miami sprint finish was a pretty good drive. However, he only has those kinds of drives once per season, if that. And even then, he needed to have Jack Villeneuve hassle him for it. He had a pretty good career. He was very, very, very favorable. If he makes a comeback, I could only see it with Cadillac, if they even want him. In 19th, I have Oliver Bearman. Going from a driver that was ending his career to a driver that is starting his career, and Oliver Bearman was called up from F2 when Carlos had appendicitis and couldn't make the Saudi race. He had a great drive in that, finishing P7, but I will say about Ali, his Formula 2 season after being called up seemed like he knew that he already had the seat. But yeah, he's got great potential. We've only seen a little bit of him, so I can't rank him much higher. He needs more experience. I have high hopes for Bearman, and I could see him driving for Ferrari. Definitely after Lewis would leave. In 18th, I have put Zhou Guanyu, the first ever Chinese driver since 2022 has really improved. There are a few stat lines that he has overcome with Bottas, and I think that would be definitely points because of that race in, I believe it was Qatar that he scored that P8. Now, Zhou is a lot faster in race pace since 2022, but Valtteri will always get him in qualifying. But a lot of the faster laps came from Zhou Guanyu from that awful kick Sauber. Valtteri Bottas is in 17th. Once again, he had a car that he couldn't do much with at all, besides race his teammate in it. I mean, it wasn't VF21 bad, but really, I would say that Mattia Binotto, he joined a little bit too late to have those improvements on the car actually make sense with Audi coming in. Valtteri, his experience outpaced Zhou, and Zhou Guanyu in 18th, Valtteri Bottas in 17th. In 16th, I have Franco Colapinto. Franco Colapinto was expected to be stomped once again by Albon, but he had a couple surprises, putting that Williams into Q3 and scoring points with it as a rookie, which Logan couldn't do in his second season in that same car. The boy from Argentina, he had a few crashes himself, but he could definitely put the pressure on Albon when it counted in qualifying, and he deserves a seat for 2025 or 2026. In 15th is Kevin Magnussen. Kevin Magnussen, I feel like when he has fun, he performs well. I'm thinking he has a lot of fun on the Haas team because it's a lot less pressure, but there's still pressure in Formula One anyways, and I could see him performing slightly better on the second half of the season when he knew he wasn't going to be in F1 anymore and he had to make the most of it. So he was actually having fun, I believe, during the last few races he had in 2024. In Miami, when he kind of drove just to help the team and he was just kind of like a wall, it landed him a race ban. But I don't know. I can't say anything more about Kevin Magnussen that makes him better or makes him worse. So 15th, he has to go. 14th, Alexander Albon. Albon continued to stomp Logan. Yeah, I could comfortably say that Albon is faster than Logan. I think we can all agree there. But we don't know if he's faster than Franco, because on many more occasions than Logan, Franco could outqualify Albon, and it would make Alex uncomfortable for sure. And with Carlos coming in next year, he's not going to have a comfortable teammate because Carlos is fast. I don't know if Albon will be ready for that, but I can't say that he's that much better than anyone else. So 14th, 13th, Esteban Ocon, lucky number 13 for him. The problems with Gasly on and off track seem to come to a boiling point this year in Monaco when they banged wheels, and that seemed to be the last straw for Alpine, an already struggling team, struggling for finances, struggling for power, struggling for weight, struggling for anything that they could possibly think of, and they have problems on track with their drivers. As much crap I will talk about Ocon, he is a good driver, and he will on his day match Gasly and beat him. 13th, Esteban Ocon. Let me stop talking about him. In 12th, we have Liam Lawson. Now, this kid is the highest ranked driver who didn't complete the entire season, and now he's even got a seat at Red Bull. This is interesting because I feel like Yuki deserves this seat way more, but Lawson is still fast, and that's the thing. And Yuki was faster this year than Liam, not by much, but he was still faster. And personally, I'm not entirely happy with Lawson replacing Checo instead of Yuki, who was, looking like Gasly. And this year, in 11th, is Yuki Tsunoda. Just outside of the top 10. His pace has been the best it has. He outpaced Ricardo. He outpaced Lawson more this year than he did last year. Not to mention his maturity improved throughout the year, because that incident in Bahrain was a little iffy, but after that it was relatively smooth sailing for Yuki's standards, and his pace and confidence matched that. And that's where it puts him at 11th on this list. Now, just cracking into the top 10 is Pierre Gasly. Oh, he became the lead Alpine driver after Alpine simply couldn't deal with Ocon anymore. You know, based on the start of the year, it was really, really weird seeing an Alpine in the top 10, because Pierre was really dragging that car around to where it could go. And with a dying team like that, seeing that after their announcement of taking Mercedes engines in 2026 is really uplifting for them. And I hope translating into next year, Pierre and Jack can create a good result on track with the car that they are given. But we'll see. We have a different lineup, different attitude going into this coming season, and hopefully things will be different. 9th place, Fernando Alonso. Adrian Newey, that seems to be the talk of the town. His looming presence, it seemed to make this year for Alonso excruciatingly slow, both literally and figuratively, because he kept complaining about the car on straights. They had to keep reverting to old upgrades that worked better than the ones that had before, and then it turns out that they really wanted the new upgrades. I don't know what kind of fuckery was going on over there, but Dan Fallow's exit seems to be a positive note, with Adrian Newey coming in, and hopefully he'll be able to design a car that Fernando Alonso will be able to enjoy and maybe even win races with. But that's not until January, and we haven't seen anything yet. So Alonso can't really make the most out of his driving abilities. 8th place, as a surprise, Lewis Hamilton. This is easily one of Lewis Hamilton's worst seasons with Mercedes by far. Out of all 12 of them, this is probably the worst. His announcement towards Ferrari, once again, it seems to make this year seem excruciatingly slow for him. Silly penalties like the pit lane speed limiter, and just complaining about the car on track. It's just the sabotage theories, George beating him comfortably. It's just the real Lewis wouldn't have these things happen, and Lewis couldn't keep up. Simple as that. In 7th place, Nico Hülkenberg. Now look at this guy. In the beginning of the season, during the spring break, I would say he was a top 3 driver on the grid, because he was throwing that car into where it shouldn't be. His pace was unreal. Seeing how he was able to bring this car from the back of the grid 2023, for all that wind tunnel time that the engineers did and all the sim work that Nico did, he was able to translate it on track into the limit, not exceeded but maximized. The overall pace after spring break, I would say it kind of faltered away, and you'd expect to see that with small teams that just can't keep up with all those upgrades. The Constructors' Championship up at the top was definitely heating up, but at the same time, the battle with Alpine and RB was also heating up, and that was fun to watch this season. But lucky number 7 for Nico Hülkenberg, I think is a fair option, only because of the drivers ahead of him. Because at 6th place, it's Oscar Piastri. Oscar is he's just a chill guy, but he could challenge and beat Lando Norris if he really wants to. After McLaren favored Lando for the Drivers' Championship, he kind of stepped back a little bit, only because he had to. But he could definitely outpace Lando, and there were a few times where team orders should have come into play if McLaren really wanted Lando to win the championship. I won't say that he has enough experience to lead a team, but he can make Lando uncomfortable for sure. Coming in from last year, he's definitely exceeded my expectations. Now, the top 5, starting with Carlos Sainz. His final year at Ferrari is his best. 2 wins. He could keep up with Charles at the beginning of the season for sure. And he got a seat. He moved back in the grid. But I don't know how much further up he could have went because Red Bull has faltered. And now he's up at Williams, and now he's got to bring that car from the back to the front. So he had to make the most of this year, and I believe he did. A win in Mexico, a win in Australia, and that's just top 5 driver performance for me. I saw a lot less mistakes from Carlos than I did in the previous, years of Ferrari, and I don't think he's as good as Charles still, but he is good. He was really good this year, but not as good as George Russell in 4th place. George Russell, I think, is actually a sharp contender for the Drivers' Championship next year. A fantastic drive was taken away from him in Spa, and he definitely maximized the pace of this Mercedes this year. The 4th fastest car, 4th best driver. It's pretty clear cut from here. He's a Mercedes golden boy. For next year, he's got a rookie teammate, so this should be interesting for him. I'm excited. In 3rd place, Charles Leclerc. He has finally broken the curse. A win at Monaco, a win in Monza, a win in Coda, all in the same year. I think this was a great year for Charles. He had a shot at winning the Constructors' Championship for Ferrari, which hasn't happened since 2008. And he couldn't do it, but at the same time, he's got next year to look forward to. Lewis Hamilton being his teammate is a little scary, and he couldn't win the Constructors, but Lewis wished him luck for next year. I saw that. I will say the thing that I really liked to watch was the last race in Abu Dhabi, seeing Charles Leclerc. I think he was up 11 positions after the first lap, starting P19, getting all the way up to P8. That's insane. There were a few corners where he overtook 3 people under braking, and having that much pace in the car, no wonder how he got that many places in 1 lap. Top 3 driver for sure. Second, Lando Norris. This year was Lando Norris' first time contending for both championships, really. And on track, we saw that he just wasn't ready. I don't think he knows how to race Max Verstappen yet. With Max Verstappen being the world champion, he is the man to beat. Next year should be a lot more exciting. Should be able to look forward to it a little bit more because he knows what the pressure of a world championship looks like. He knows what he needs to do. He knows how to start races because we saw the improvement when Lando was getting pole positions. We saw the improvement on that last final title push that he had during the very end of the season. He knows what to do next year. 2025 should be a great year. And last but not least, number 1. He drives the number 1, Max Verstappen. The beginning of the season, I don't know if he would have been able to win the championship if he hadn't have done something like that. 7 wins, and then just damage limitation from spring onwards. That's not bad for him. If Newey left before the season started, I'm not sure if we would be seeing Max having 4 titles right now. Dominant drives like Brazil, like that will show him he's worthy of it, but I don't know if this car would have been able to keep up because it was consistently the 3rd fastest car. And I'm not confident if Adrian Newey left in February that we would be seeing that kind of dominance. But at the same time, Brazil was towards the end of the season, and Andrea Newey was long gone. And 17th to 1st in Brazil in one race, that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. He deserves his Ford championships for sure. I'm just not sure how Ford is going to help next year, if they can at all. We'll see. We'll see. I'm interested. I'm interested for sure. And with that is all 23 Formula One drivers ranked. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, be sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If there's something that you didn't like about this video, leave a comment. If there's something that you liked about this video, leave a comment. Let me know. Give me some ideas.